to use sex semen, it's definitely going to be between 5 and 9% less conception rate than conventional semen. So for herd donors to use it, and the first thing they would need is have very good fertility in the herd genetically, and also have very good management performance with their 6-week calving rates.
With breeding season reaching the midpoint on many spring calving dairy farms, we're taking stock of how the season has progressed so far and discussing the key management decisions for the weeks ahead. I'm joined today by Doreen Corridan, CEO of NCBC. We'll be discussing breeding performance to date, trends in dairy beef and semen usage, managing cows that have yet to be served, and the key actions farmers should focus on for the remainder of the breeding season. I started by asking Doreen how she would assess the breeding season so far.
It's quite an interesting season because if you take today, the 2nd of June, today's mating is calving the 12th of March in 2027. So the big thing that we need to do now, James, is have a very strong finish. Because today, the way the season has gone is April matings were well down nationally. They were down, over 15,000. Which meant there's quite a number of herd donors were going away from January calving, which is fine. But the important thing then is we need to maximise March calving and not having cows go into April. Because if we start late, we have to have a very strong finish. And today's on the ICBF national figures there on the handheld, nationally, still back about 5,000 inseminations. But the dairy inseminations are quite similar to what they were in 2025.
Okay, so there has been a conscious effort, obviously, as you say, by some people to move calving start date, but you're making the point that we really need to be focused. There's a lot of work goes into the first half of the breeding season, and often, hard to keep that focus up, Doreen, but for the next number of 8 weeks, I suppose we need to maximise the number of cows that are got in calf.
Yes, because we need a strong finish. Because the one thing we don't want is a big lull in calving now. Around Patrick's Day. So we need to avoid that lull and certainly avoid as much as possible April calvings.
You mentioned dairy AI usage this spring. Any notable trends in breeding decisions or what farmers are deciding to do on that front?
The main thing is delayed. The season was delayed. The second thing, sex semen is up a little bit, but it's not up as much as anticipated because the AI companies produced about 20% more sex semen than last year. And they still have left some substantial quantities, which is a huge cost on the system to have quantities left. So the question is, has the sex semen plateaued? Nationally with our current figures of about 33% of replacements? Or is it a factor of the value of the Frisian bull calf this year contributed to it?
And that, I suppose, that would have been the first time for a number of years you would have been seeing substantial growth and gains year on year with sex semen over the last number of years, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, because if you take 5 years ago, we were just at 2%. So it has climbed steadily. So we're at about 33% of our replacements now from sexed.
And I suppose the horse is bolted at this stage with that regard. But what would you say to farmers? Obviously, calf prices are up this spring, Doreen, but should we be continuing to build on the good work that has been done and increase sex semen usage?
It totally depends on the herd donors in the sense that to use sex semen it's definitely going to be between 5 and 9% less conception rate than conventional semen. So for herd donors to use it, the first thing they would need is have very good fertility in the herd genetically, and also have very good management performance with their 6-week calving rates. And in some herds, it's advisable not to use it, but in most herds, certainly is worthwhile using. But the question is, try and use it in the first 2 weeks of the breeding season, so that you can compensate then subsequently Do you know what I mean? With the actual lower conception rate. And the other big advantage then, you have your heifers born earlier.
And of your best cows as well, Doreen, I suppose you can be very selective, which gives big benefits.
And that is the key there, James. And often herd owners aren't as selective as they should be on what cows they use sexed on to make sure that they're using it in the highest genetic merit.
Mm,
So to really maximize the value of the sext is to use it early, but also to use it on your highest females to end up with the best chance of having a high genetic merit heifer calf.
mm. One that cropped up and maybe people are a little more conscious, probably dairy maintenance dropped off to a level that was a little bit too low there for a couple of years ago. Where is that at now, or how would farmers maybe know, Doreen, that they've enough dairy semen used to replace their heifers?
Yeah, as while we were having the growth in the dairy herd, but when the dairy herd then plateaued there around 22, a lot of herd owners switched to beef, and we had a little tightening of the number of replacements that was required there for a number of years, especially heifers born in 23 and 24. But herd owners have reverted back now. We just have about enough replacements born, because only slightly over 80% of heifers in the ground ever calf. So there's about a 20% loss from heifers born to heifers actually entering the herd. The easiest way to know for herd owners at the moment, have they enough replacements, is if they do a simple, somewhat conventional semen, 4 straws to get a heifer, because half them will be bulls, and with sext, 2 straws to get a heifer. So if they worked out how many conventional and how many sext have they used to date, and on maidens, you will get that little bit more, of course.
Very good. Lots of farmers will be switching to beef AI now. Any words of advice, or you mentioned that their obviously focus is one now for the remainder of the breeding season, but have you any advice for farmers that will be making that switch obviously over the coming weeks to beef AI?
I think the big thing with beef AI and where we are in the season, and we need a strong finish, is everything we do from now on, we have to be using the most predictable methods and the most proven methods. So if you take beef AI, the first thing is calving ease. So what we need is bulls of proven calving ease for dairy cows. So if you take the dairy beef panels that's available, um, you will see there the 500,000, 10,000 calvings. So the first thing is proven calving is, especially for second calvers. I mean, that's absolutely crucial, of course, also for maidens. The other thing is tinned up with a calf of value to the guy that's finishing the calf, the high CBV calf. Because continually, as dairy farmers, we have to make sure that the herd owners buying the calf can make some money from it. More importantly, is reliable CR, reliable conception rates. Because often we're going in now, we're going in after sex semen, which we need to compensate for. We're also going in with more difficult cows, I mean, to get in calf because they're late calvers and so forth. So make sure that we have the reliable CR. The short gestation is crucial at the moment now, because every day in March, I mean, is absolutely crucial. I mean, it's 2 kilos of milk solids, and we've plenty Angus bulls there that are -3 days in gestation. We have Hertford bulls that's, I mean, -1 day in gestation, Limousin bulls that's -1. And so the big thing is proven easy calving, proven short gestation, proven conception rates. And the other thing then, there's a range of sires to suit all cows.
You mentioned conception rate too, and teams of bulls too, I suppose. See, farmers have got better at that with their dairy sires, but often maybe they're only using one or two beef AI sires. You're better, I suppose, to have a team of beef bulls there as well. Not only to suit the cows, but also in terms of reducing risk as well.
Oh, it is, but all AI companies are monitoring the conception rates. So highly proven bulls that have been out there quite a lot. The conception rate is known. Um, So the big thing is for the herd owners to go for the predictable and the proven at this time.
You mentioned problem cows and late calve cows. There will be a percentage of cows there on some farms, maybe not submitted for AI yet. There'll also be later calved ones in a similar situation. What's the advice to farmers now? You mentioned it. We're heading into middle of March calving at this stage. There's
It
not a
is.
long window left to get these cows submitted once or twice.
No, the most important thing now is that herd owners have been busy for the last 2 weeks or so forth. So I mean, with the
Mm.
window of weather, good weather that was there and silage and so forth. But the key thing now is cows not yet bred, right? And the easiest way to pull off those is going to your ICBF weekly fertility report. And when you go into your ICBF weekly fertility report, you can pull off all the cows that's in that are calved and not bred. Then just get those drafted out, call out your vet, check them to make sure none of the cows are dirty. And the best method then is to go in with that good synchronization protocol, because every cow is guaranteed then to be bred in 10 days. And the big advantage of that synchronization protocol, basically in a Monday morning, you're putting in your Seeder and injecting a GnRH. The following Monday, you're given, and these can be done at milking. And the following Monday, you're injecting your PG. On the following Tuesday morning, then you're pulling out your device and giving a second shot of PG. And then on the Wednesday evening, then you're given the GnRH, and it's fixed time AI on the Thursday. And you're inseminating all the cows at fixed time AI. And the big advantage of that, they're all bred. They're all bred. They all have received the straw. And then the repeats will be coming together. So it'll be easier to pick them up.
Yeah, that's probably a challenge at this stage in terms of, as you say, with heat detection. There'll be more cows settling in calf, just staying focused in that regard. You mentioned that the sync program, the late calvers, at what point, Doreen, would you present them irrespective of days calved to the vet? And at what point, I suppose, would you look about putting them on a sync program?
The first thing, James, is make sure they're calved 30 days. I think that's the important thing. And the second thing then is that the vet checks them to make sure that they haven't got an endometritis or an infection. And then I just simply put them all on that program, because they're all bred in that 10 days then. You're guaranteed they're all bred, because if you start giving someone prostaglandin and putting more of them on the program, I'll guarantee you they will not all be bred in the 10 days. And if you follow that program really well, and it's easy because it can be done morning and evening at milking, it'll cost you about between 30 and 35 euros a cow. They're all bred. They all have got a straw, do you know what I mean? And they will repeat in the actual 3 weeks. And equally then you have an equal bunch, do you know what I mean, for scanning.
You have an
And
opportunity to submit them for AI twice, really, if farmers get that done in the next week or 10 days, Doreen.
absolutely, they have two chances, I mean, to inseminate those, as if they get them in, I mean, they'll be going in again late March, first week of April, so I mean, with the second insemination. And I think that is the key piece, because what we really need to do is to keep as many of the cutting cows that we have in the herd, at least 80% of them, do you know what I mean, to calve down next year. If you inseminate those, do you know what I mean, with the very, very good dairy beef bulls, that have known the high conception rates, known the short gestation, known the calves of value, you're winning on both sides.
Replacement heifers. We've spoken there about the importance of the cows. How do farmers avoid disappointment, I suppose, at this stage? A lot of heifers are on out blocks, Doreen. There's a lot of effort often goes into sync programs. Heifers are bred. How do farmers maybe ensure that they have a successful breeding season? That work is done at this stage, but what should they be doing or what should they be looking out for?
Yeah, a lot of it is done, but we're still only 12th of March calving, and a lot of maidens calve after the 12th of March. So we'll talk about breeding first and we'll talk about weight after. The big thing with maidens at the moment is what a lot of herd owners do is they're synchronizing fixed time AI. They use sexed. But the difference then between the success rate and the not so successful is how they pick up the repeats. Because even if you have, we'll say, 20 heifers in a bunch, you get 60% conception rate, you end up with 8 heifers coming in as repeats. Right? Even if you get 70% conception rate, you have 6 heifers coming in as a repeat. Right? And the ideal is to AI him, so I mean, to put him in 16 days later, put cranes and scratch cards on him, or a half of a vasectomized bull and pick him up for the repeats. What some herd owners do is they let off a bull with him. That's fine if it's a mature bull and if you have enough bull power. Because for 20 heifers for synchronized, you nearly want 2 mature bulls to pick them all up because you can have anywhere from 6 to 8 heifers coming, so I mean, over a 2-day period. While the worst case scenario is let off a virgin bull who's never served before, doesn't know, so I mean, because mating has to be learned by the bull. And it's very difficult for him to learn how to mate with 5 or 6 young heifers. You know what I mean?
And
Literally,
that's often the bull that does go, Doreen. He's the younger bull, he's the lighter bull, he goes off with the maidens. People maybe question the sink then, but actually when you sit down and study it, you got an expected conception to your sync program, 60% plus, but it's the first repeats that maybe let the thing down.
absolutely. And the thing then, so what's done is done, James. So the first thing we can do now is when the 2nd of June is once the heifers are over 28 days gone from their first DI, get him scanned and see what result was there. As at least you know what I mean, how many is definitely gone in calf, right? Then if the bull is with them, make sure he's fertile. If you are in the NGP program and you had the bull last year, see what date did he go out? How many calves have you offered him over what period of time? So you can retrospectively do his conception rate from last year, but it's definitely worthwhile getting the bull fertility checked. I mean, to make sure the semen is okay, because at least then if you see him serving and you know the semen is okay, you're winning. But if your bull is gone lame, expecting him, do you know what I mean, to have a high conception rate, it's not going to happen. So for the maidens, the big thing is to scan them, especially the early ones, to see how many need to be picked up. Have you had enough bull power for the repeats? I mean, make sure the bull is fertile.
You mentioned weight there. Just any comment on that?
Yeah, I think the big thing for maiden heifers is herd owners now have the 2026 bottom calves and they have the bulling heifers. So the big thing is go to the scales, weigh them, see where you're going. What have the 26 bottom heifers gained to date? I mean, they should be up having gained 0.7, 0.8 kilos a day. If they hadn't, why not? And try and get them right now. Equally with the bulling heifers. In June, if you know, I mean, you're 30, 40 kilos behind where you should be. I mean, now is a great time. Make sure they have top quality grass. And then when grass starts decreasing there in August and so forth, start feeding them, as it's much easier to get the weight on them in the summer rather than across the winter when they're inside in the shed. And herd owners having the ability to separate them into different groups.
Yep, I think that's invaluable advice. You mentioned bulls, and just many herds will still use stock bulls towards the end of the breeding season within the main cow herd. Um, Similar advice there, or any advice around bull power? Like how many bulls are we talking?
Okay. The big thing is, herds are that larger, it's harder and harder to keep the bull sound. And that is the key piece. The big thing with the stock bulls is, now that most herds in the NGP, all stock bulls are genotyped. Work out their conception rate last year. When did you stop AI? When did the bulls go out? How many calves do you get in the first 3 weeks? How many calves do you get in the second 3 weeks? And how many cows was presented to them? And it'll really give you a good understanding of what's happening with the bull inside your own herd, right? The second thing, when you intend stopping AI and letting off the bull, keep eyeing for the first 7 to 10 days with the bull out, because the bull then is a good help to you to pick up the ones in heat. He's also getting used to it, right? And you could work out, I mean, that if you have 100 cows, there's 20 left to be bred. And you said, gee, he hadn't much to do. But he must check those 100 cows morning and evening to pick out the 20 that's pulling. So it's not alone the 20 that's not in calf he's to focus on. He's checking the whole 100, right? And especially bulls in their first and second season, when they're coming in now morning and evening with the cows, it's definitely worth feeding them. I mean, feeding the bull. So I'd feed the bull, make sure the ratio is right. I'd have him fertility tested. When the bull is out, I definitely eye for the first week to 10 days. I mean, and
You
if there's
often hear farmers say about that lull, don't you? And that AI and along with the bull will help. You hear it, the
you
calf
do,
has gone quiet, when the bulls went
you
out.
and you keep eyeing, because if you have more than 2 cows a day coming, I mean, it's too much for a bull to be able to do 2 cows every day. I mean, a bull wants to be in his third season onwards, and dairy herd owners don't tend to keep those mature bulls. They usually have a bull in the first or second season. So keep eye until you're down to less than 1 cow a day coming bulling. And then you can let off the bull full time. But the big thing is the bulls that are available now in dairy beef with that proven easy calving, that proven conception rate, that proven calf quality. It definitely is worth the effort, I mean, of actually using it. Because you'll end up with more milk next year from them, because the cows will have the easier calving for a start, so that'll more fertility and more milk. The cows will calve, I mean, 4 or 5 days earlier because they're shocked at gestation, so that's also more milk. And also, with the dairy beef, your conception rate will be higher. So I mean, then with the actual stock bulls out there, so that'll give you more milk as well.
If you were to give farmers 3 pieces of advice now for the remainder of the breeding season, maybe to wrap up, Doreen, what would they be? What's
I
the
suppose,
3 or 4 things?
I suppose the first thing is we have the 2nd of June, which is the 12th of March calving. So time is not on our side. So I mean, so there's an urgency this week to do something to avoid this lull and maximize March calving. I think that's the first thing, is that urgency. The second thing then that's important is pull out those late calvers. It's not a big job. Go into your ICBF weekly fertility file. It'll tell you the cow's calf 30 days not served. Pull them out and put them on that day fixed time AI protocol for conventional semen. I wouldn't go using sex in them. I'd only use conventional on them. Right? And the third piece then is the value that's there in those dairy beef bulls at the moment, with the proven calving, proven fertility, proven short gestation, and proven calf quality. It's absolutely exceptional. And the other thing then, James, is scan the maidens, because a lot of those now are going to be over 28, 30 days. What's the result? And make sure the bull witting is fertile.
That's it for this week's episode of the Dairy Edge podcast. My thanks to Doreen Corridan for joining me on this week's show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, go to the Teagasc website at teagasc.ie. I'm James Dunne, and join us next time for your Dairy Edge.